Hello, hello, good evening, everyone. I am Stephen Jackson, the Chief Example Officer of Transruptic Incorporated. We are transforming and disrupting the state of entrepreneurship. And before I get into a lot of things, I am here live at the 2022 Power Networking Conference here in one of my favorite cities, Houston, Texas. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. I got my favorite co-host back in the house with me, number one business extraordinary, Natalie Price. What's going on?
Hello, everybody. I hope you all have been enjoying your summer. We have a great show for you tonight. Well, while Stephen is in Houston at the Power Network, we're going to bring a little bit of that to you. We're just excited to be in here, so let's get this thing going.
Yeah, so I am in Houston, Texas, and what I really like about being back here in Houston, Texas, this is where I first experienced leadership training. I took my first leadership courses here in 2006. Been part of leadership training teams. I actually was last night. I was at one of our favorite restaurants. We used to go and celebrate every time we had a successful team. But I'm really, really excited to be here at Power Networking Conference. This is the 21st year of Power Networking Conference. Have this is this I mean, seriously, network goes on here. Seriously, black money exchanges hands. Businesses grow. We are pouring into one another. There's been some tremendous speakers. I got one of them with me tonight. He was actually our first guest. I'm going to talk a little bit about more. But do you know, I almost did not come. Oh, and I'm gonna talk about it because I am releasing a new book next later on this month called "Want to Be a Preneur." I'm not gonna talk a lot about the book, but we talk about in that book. I talk about the conversation that you have with yourself that prevents you from becoming an entrepreneur, prevents you from doing other things in life. So, because I had COVID last month, I started having this conversation with myself about not coming to the conference. I'm gonna pay for it, pay for airline tickets, hotel, all that's been paid for. And my brain is still having this conversation with me. Well, because its number one job is to keep me safe. So my brain is telling me, Stephen, let's not go. Let's be safe. We don't want to catch COVID again. I literally stand in front of the mirror on Monday morning and talk myself and say, I am an entrepreneur. This is my company. I got to get out into the networks and do what I have to do. So I am here. I'm glad I'm here. I've seen some old friends, people I lost, I've not been in contact with for a number of years. New people I met with, and of course, this is actually the first time that Brother Bedford and have met face to face. I met him last year at the virtual conference. We was on the internet and decided to work with him. But this is actually our first face to face meeting was yesterday, early afternoon, and I'm so happy to have him on this evening. So we're going to jump right into tonight's program. How you doing? So
Hey, Stephen,
this
how you doing?
I'm doing great. So let me explain. I told he just did a workshop for or masterminding upstairs. I told the group there exactly what I'm gonna say here tonight. I met this brother at this Power Networking conference where it's amazing stuff is going on. But what I really like about what he has done is that masterminding has allowed me to create a company that I never thought I would create. And that has been
Mm.
such a great thing. So the people we have on with us tonight, who you can also bring, who are part of they're part of the family. We're all family now. But what I love about having them all here is what they have poured into me and what I've been able to also pour back into others. So Brother Bedford, man, this show is gonna really be more about you and Natalie. There's a lot I could say, but I would stick on the sideline and ask all the questions. But let's get the rest of the group on. Let's get these other amazing women on who I get to spend every Thursday and every other and the last Saturday of the month with. So first, we're gonna have the Lynette. Tell us about yourself. Who are you? What you do?
Hi, thank you for having me, Stephen, and along with our mob, we call it Masters of Business organization here. We call ourselves family, and we are. So, the name of my company is iCare Technology Geeks, and I'm the CEO and founder. And what we do is we focus on cybersecurity, helping our clients with a cybersecurity IT firm.
Thank you, Lynette. So next person I want to talk about this. So she's actually been a muse to me. She has given me some great ideas. Actually, she is the co-author of our Transruptic first white paper, Entrepreneurship as a Career Path for People of Color. That whole concept came from me hearing an idea that she put out. So Anisha, tell us who you are and what you do.
My mic don't want to work. Hey, everybody. My
There you
name is
go.
Nitra Lane, and I am the CEO of Backus Virtual Management, and I provide back
Yeah.
office support services to our.
Uh-oh. Anitra
Did
went
we
mute.
lose me? Did I go mute again?
There you go.
Okay. Okay. I'm back, y'all. I'm back. I'm back. That mute stuff, yeah. So anyway, I provide back office support services, boss services to entrepreneurs, women who are in business who want to make an impact and need help with their back office stuff.
Thank you, Anitra. And finally, I got someone who keeps me accountable about building Transrupted because she's been really excited. But she has a great business as a Melanie. Tell us what you do.
Hi, my name is Melanie Buncombe. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. I am the owner of Williams Appraisal and a broker at the same place. And I'm also now the affiliate, and I changed my name to Entrepreneurial Business Zones because I am an affiliate of Transruptic.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So, Natalie, take it away.
So, a couple weeks ago, maybe about a couple weeks ago, Stephen called me. We're like, what do we want to discuss for our show this week? What do we want to bring to the table? And he mentioned that he would be in Houston with this group of phenomenal people that he's in his mastermind with. And I said, let's talk about a mastermind. So what I want to talk about tonight is get clarity around what is a mastermind. And I'm going to start off with Brother Bedford, since you are the master of the mind leader, it feels like, right? So I want, COVID has, even with COVID, it has brought on everybody's a coach, everybody's an advisor, everybody's a strategist, those nice words. Everybody wants to do a mastermind over weekend with wine, right? But what really is a mastermind? Can you clarify this for us?
Sure. Thank you so much, Natalie. We miss you. We wish you were here with us. We're having such a great time. Today is officially the first day of the PowerNetworking Conference, but the bonus day was yesterday, and Stephen was in yesterday, and we had a chance to talk about some things and have some fun. Lynette was in yesterday. Melanie and Anitra, I just saw for the first time today for the official opening, but we're really enjoying ourselves. And the whole premise of a mastermind, it's really displayed. Now, first you said, like, I'm the master of the mastermind. The beautiful thing about a mastermind is that it allows everyone to evolve and grow and work on mastery. And so I'm looking at myself as a person who's in the process of working and developing on mastering this principle of masterminding, which is simply when one mind comes together with another mind, those two minds produce a third and energetic mind that produces new ideas, new thoughts, new concepts, and it solves a myriad of problems through questioning and discussion. And so a lot of people get masterminding wrong, and they think it's more like a coaching program. In fact, Stephen and I had a great conversation on that a couple of weeks ago. I actually wrote a post about it, and I think Stephen shared some things through his blog about it, where people confuse coaching or coaching groups with masterminding, where people come to a mastermind anticipating learning something from the person who's facilitating. But the key word there is facilitating. And as Stephen first started out in this conversation, it is through the facilitation and the conversations and the dialogue within the group that allowed him to launch his new company, that allowed him to connect with Anitra, and those two came together and they co-authored something. And then you just heard Melanie saying that she's an affiliate and a cohort. So if you notice, that whole process has nothing to do with me. I'm just the facilitator. And that's what a good facilitator should strive to do, is create the environment where everyone can learn, grow, and develop together. And that is the purest form of a mastermind.
Thank you. So I've heard for every two people in a mastermind, there's really three.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I don't know, I guess you were here today because you must have heard my talk from the stage because it's literally scriptural. There's a passage in the Bible that says, where two or more are gathered, there I am in the midst of you. Even if you study the Quran says, where there are two, God is the third. Where there are three, God is the fourth. So to your point, when two people come together, or three or four, you're literally producing or inviting another power, another mind into the equation. And here's the key, Natalie. That's where all of the great ideas, all of the great concepts come from, because you literally have to get out of your own way and let the power of the mastermind do its work.
Love it.
Natalie, can I just interrupt for one quick second? I want to give a shout out to KP Crayon, who's on with us tonight. She was
Hey,
supposed,
KP.
yes, KP was supposed. She's a member of the mastermind group. She was supposed to be with us here in Houston. Matter of fact, she was on her way here, but unfortunately, she was at her family reunion and she caught COVID, so she cannot. So, KP, we wish you to get well very quickly. We hope this is not a bad thing, and we look forward to meeting with you. So, thank you for being on with us tonight. Okay, Natalie, back to you.
Good, good. Thank you. All right. So I do have some questions, and I'm gonna open it up whoever would like to answer. Because I want to. Dr. Bedford told me about what the mastermind is, but now I want a little bit of your experience in it. All right. So, question: how has being a part of a mastermind helped you personally and professionally?
Okay.
Don't
Okay.
everybody answer at once.
I'll answer that question for you. Well,
Oh,
by me being in the mastermind, I was stuck in a position where I did not know where to go, and the answers came as we met up every Thursday, and I figured if I got around like-minded people, that I would funnel in information that I didn't necessarily would get from any place else. So that's what I got from being in a mastermind.
thank you, Anitra. I know you were saying something as well.
I was getting ready to say it. I've been in the mastermind for probably almost 4 years, and I was the quietest person in the very beginning of the mastermind. And what it did was it helped me to gain another level of confidence that I had lost at some point. And then being in business, I kept saying, Brother Bedford, what is this language? I speak English. You keep saying the language, the language. I thought I spoke the language. But learning the
That's good,
words
Anitra.
that needed to be said to capture the people that are meant to work with me and that I'm meant to work with, that has been phenomenal when it's coming from the mob, and being able to just be open and share with my other mobsters and talk to them about the things that are going on in my business that might not be so great. We just been able to just go around in circle. And even with Stephen, I just said, I've had multitudes of businesses, and entrepreneurship is just a career. That's what I saw it being. And so that was just a conversation. I didn't realize it was going to take off as great as it has with Stephen. So.
Great, Lynette.
Okay, so when I first came in, I was too quiet as well. And everybody decided to tell me, okay, Lynette, speak up, and they make me come off of mute. So I talk now more. And Melanie also was extremely quiet, but now she's talking more as well. And what we decided the other day is that when it was in office hours, that when we are together, what goes on in the mob stays in the mob. So that's one great thing we like about it. You have your confidentiality, and we talk about a lot. We talk about, our personal issues. We talk about our business, challenges. And then recently, I will let y'all in on a little secret. I was recently on the last Thursday. We were on office hours, and everybody was telling me, "Hey, get it together, get it together, get it together. You need to do that. You need to do this." So I was excited about that because they push you to the next level. And being a part of a mastermind, if you are stuck in a certain area, personally or professionally, in this particular time, it was business wise. They were telling me some suggestions, and I challenged Stephen the other day as well. I said, "Okay, you telling me these are the things I need to do. How do I do it? And he walked me through everything piece by piece. So it is actually, a masterful minds meeting, and we go and we try and then we come back. So it's always good to come back each week to say, okay, well, I got this accomplished. I didn't get this accomplished. I need your help on this. And we reach out to each other, even when we're not on office hours, and help each other out. So I love it.
This is
In
good.
defense of Stephen, I don't tell anyone what to do. I make suggestions. I ask questions. But I just got to do one very quick thing. Here in Houston, Texas, we had our guest last month with Dr. Stacy N.C. Grant. She is here with us, not here, but she's
Hey,
upstairs. She's upstairs emceeing. This week, she is actually the MC for the whole conference. And also, I want to let everyone know that she's added to her title, so she's not just Dr. Stacy N.C. Grant. She's also Madam International President of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority
Yay!
Incorporated. Okay, so she is president elect, and we've been celebrating that with her all these last couple of days as well. So I just want to let everyone know she was our guest on the show last month. She's with us today, this week here in Houston, emceeing, and she also led a conference. She also did a Power Network Power Conference as well as a presenter. Okay, back to you, Natalie.
She also has an event coming up in August. I believe it's like
Thank you. Yeah,
she
so
has another event coming up.
next week begins Faithpreneur Conference. So you go to faithpreneurs.com. It's spelled just like it sounds, faithpreneurs.com. You can go to the website. If she works with creating faith-based businesses, Dr. Grant runs about 5, 6 companies. So she's truly Jamaican. But she has multiple sources. Well, she says it herself. I'm not saying anything that she doesn't say. She'll let you know that she's truly Jamaican, along with her husband and 2 sons. They all run companies. Everybody run a company. Okay, that's what you got. That's your contribution to that household, is to run a business.
that's
uh,
right.
but Dr. Grant is an amazing person. We're so happy that she won the election to represent 125,000 women around the world. Zeta Phi Beta.
Powerful.
She has a tremendous voice, and she's there to be of service. Okay, and that's the most great thing about her. And we're so glad to have her on last week, and I will be at her conference next week as well. I was one of her first supporters, and I continue to support her in everything that she does. Go ahead. Okay, thank you, Daddy. Back to you.
All right. So there's another thing I want to bring up. You're in a mastermind full of people that look like you, right? How important do you think that is? I think sometimes we say we don't want to talk about color, but to me it's the top of the topic for me. Most things,
Absolutely.
especially when we're doing business, when we're building relationships. I'm not sure about everybody else, but I relationship differently, especially since some of our elections in the United States, to be relationship differently. I'm not ashamed to say that. So how does it feel to be a part of a mastermind group where you have people that look like you and we're being vulnerable with each other, emotionally vulnerable? That's not something that we're always taught to do or do.
Before everyone chimes in, now I believe that is a very not just good question. I mean, that is an excellent question, because that probably becomes the roadblock for people going down this road, right? You asked the question, and everyone answered about their experience. And if you notice, Melanie, Lynette, and Anitra, they all talked about a part of their entrepreneurial journey where they weren't as confident, or they weren't as shy, or they were shy, or they weren't speaking. And so a mastermind environment with like-minded people who understand you and have shared experiences, allows you the time to now, I don't want to say it in a crude way, but you ain't gonna shut neither one of them up now, because now they've grown into their own voices. So that, to me, as someone who's facilitating the group, that is such a proud moment for me to watch the transformation of individuals in the group, going from not knowing what they're going to do in business, not knowing if they can get on camera. Look at everybody's on camera today. These are interviews that is a part of their development. And so that leads to the next part about your question about color. For me, I'm just like you, Natalie. I mean, it's all about our people. And this literally shows us that we don't have the same experiences as other groups by being here. talking in today's groups or today's audience, so many people were kind of familiar with masterminding, but not so familiar with masterminding. However, if you talk about this concept in other communities where Think and Grow Rich is on the bookshelf of a
My
lot of their
bookshelf.
home, yeah, but it's rare on our bookshelves, right? So in other communities, they have these experiences where this is the fifth grade talk, right? Talking about masterminding and networking and the power of thought, where for us, it doesn't happen until we get in environments like this, and to have each other accountable and patient to allow us to develop in this process, I think is critically important. And you won't get that type of latitude and longitude except from people who look like you and love you the way that you love them. So that's why it's critically important what you said about not just the experience that they've had, but also the race component.
I bring the
I,
race
oh,
component
I
up.
just want to add one thing. This entire conference is about
Yeah,
us.
yeah, that's a
Okay,
great point,
we are.
Stephen. Great point.
This entire conference is about raising us to the next level, creating relationships that get us to the next level, pouring to each other to get us to this. And it's all of this. Whole we're here all this weekend to do one thing: get better as Black people.
Yep, yep,
Okay,
yep.
okay. Some may not look black, but we're all black.
That's,
Okay,
that's right.
we got a few light skinned people. Got to keep telling them, yeah, I'm black. But this whole conference is really about us pouring into each other and about race. It's about understanding who we are as a people. We are a great people, right? We got a history lesson that proved that to us this morning. Just a lot of great things that's been going on that shows that we are really a great people. We are great entrepreneurs. We're great business people. And as long as we keep doing and striving to be better, that's what we're going to be. And this is one component of it is the mastermind.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing, Natalie, before Anitra and everyone else chimes in? Is that Stephen just made a very great point. I made that point from the Power Talk stage today, is that a mastermind is just the next extension of what we're really doing here. But when you're masterminding, instead of us just networking, like this could just be a networking group, but it turns into a mastermind when we're deliberately coming together to have deeper conversations and solve problems and create new things, such as what Stephen has done. So that's the next step up from just having someone's business card, or I know Dr. Fraser, or I know someone else. When you deliberately come into a setting like this, and now you begin to have deliberate, intentional conversations about what makes me better, right? Because Stephen is in the group, it makes me better. Because Melanie is in the group, it makes me better. I'm not looking at nobody else, but they force me to go and study. They force me to do what we're doing here, to kind of be my best representation. And none of them will be proud talking about I'm in the mob if I'm running around here looking like an idiot. So it forces me to be on my best as a representative of them. And I think it also feels that way for them when they're doing their work as well. So great point, Stephen. I just wanted to kind of add that.
Thank you.
I'll jump
Ladies,
Anitra?
in and I'm gonna jump in and share. I was born and raised in Des Moines, Iowa. So yes, I knew my skin color was black, but I was raised almost white. So to me, I was scared of my own people. Now I'm in a place and in a space over, years that it's not like that for me. And so being
Mm,
in the mob, being able to say, Stephen, we finna be married for like the next 10 years. We that kind of relationship, right? Right? That's what we
right.
doing, right? You know, um, it was an empowering feeling to know that I had a safe space, a safe place. We all have our traumas and things that we go through, but being in a place where I'm not in competition with Melanie, I'm not in competition with Steven or Lynette. These are my people, right? So I'm not afraid of them. We can be vulnerable. We can talk about whatever is going on. Sometimes it's personal, life changing things, but ultimately we're able to talk to each other. We're able to have those conversations that are the first thing that came to my mind was we always talk about crabs in a bucket, but that's not how it is in the mob. Like we're always trying to think of how do I help that next person? that looks just like me get to the next level, no matter where they start at.
I love it.
So,
Good stuff.
Melanie, Lynette, do you want to share?
Okay, could you repeat the question?
I want to understand how it feels to be a part of a mastermind with people that look like you. How's that? How has that? And let me give you guys. Let me give you all an understanding. I sit at a lot of tables where I'm the only one. Maybe there's a few, but they don't really stay long. I have a longer goal. I just want everybody's information. So I have a longer strategy than they do. But for the most part, it's just me. And if I didn't know that I was going to be hosting Transruptic and sitting on here with you guys and my extended network, it could really bother you. It could really prevent you from growing because their lived and shared experiences do not align with what you've gone through. You know what I mean? And it's not their fault. It's just not their lived experience, right? And no matter how much you try to shape it, they're not going to understand it. And I live in a community where they make big decisions for the community they don't live in, but I live there, right? So being in a room or a table where everybody looks like you, and not just looks like you, but you're able to have open, honorable, emotional conversations, right? I like the idea that language is important, the power of words, right? Sometimes we attach the wrong feeling to the wrong word, and we've been going around saying this word and not really realizing we're projecting it. And you're getting all of that. So how does that feel, being able to get access to all that? Because that is not common. It's definitely not common in Connecticut.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Well, it feels awesome. And that's the best word I can explain because I look forward each week to our meetings. There's been times where being an IT company, I'm on site on various projects for various clients. And even though I may not be able to show my face, I will still be listening. And so it's just getting the information. I want to get it at the time when it's being delivered. Yes, sure, we can go back to, get the recording at any time. But it's different when you're actually on, the actual call when it's live, because I might can chat, but I can talk. So that in and of itself says a lot. And me being an IT professional, and being an owner of IT business and it being predominantly a male dominated industry, coming in here in our group, we can understand little things that others can't, right? So for example, if I say, okay, I need more clients, everybody says that, right? But then if I say I need more clients now so that I can make sure that we keep the lights on, then we can give examples and we can relate at some point, because everybody here in the group has, with Brother Bedford and especially Stephen, I don't know how many years they've been in business, but I can only imagine if we calculate it, it has to be at least, let's just say probably 50 to 75 years with both of their experiences.
The majority of that is Stevens, though.
Yes. I figured as much, Brother Bedford. I was wondering if you was going to chime in on that. So
I would take that L.
So with that being said, you're able to collaborate with others who look like us, and they can relate on different levels in the aspects where we need help most. So that has been, I know words can't describe how well and how much it's appreciated.
Hey, JJ. Hey, April. People chiming in at the bottom. JJ Hernandez and April. Hey.
And for me, this has been like therapy for me. This is almost like a religion for me. I go to church every Sunday, and nothing is going to keep me away from being at the mob on Thursday. I don't care what I have to do. I'm coming to the mob. So it's just like I got to be there, because if I'm not there, it's like I'm missing a beat or something, because I just got to make it. So it's like
Thank you so
therapy.
much. It's your therapy. I like that you use the word therapy.
I just want to add to that too, because I make a commitment to be there every Thursday, regardless of whatever I think. I will not do any appointments for Thursday from 12 to 2. That time is already blocked. And I make those appointments because I don't want to miss an opportunity to have an experience, to learn something to help me improve what I'm doing. Okay. It's kind of like the way that Anitra gave me her idea. I was sitting in my daughter's rental vehicle outside the hotel where we get ready to book into, but I made sure that my flight landed just before 12 o'clock, and I'm in the rental car going to the hotel listening to the mastermind group. And we got there, I just sat in the car and just listened because it was just before 2 o'clock, and it was just at that time that Anitra said what she said that sparked my mind to like, whoa, this is a great idea. You don't know what I mean. The wheels just turning. So it's a commitment. It's not just us showing up. We all commit to this, and I think that there got to be some really serious work to stop us from not showing up.
Yeah. Real quick, Natalie, if I may, on that point, again, Stephen and I kind of like feed off of each other with certain things that we talk about. And what's so profound about what Stephen just shared, and actually what everyone else has shared, I really want you to kind of, if I can give the listeners and those who watch the recording a visual. The commitment to be in a mastermind. Of course, we're talking about the mob because that's our experience, but just think about this, Natalie. You mentioned the color component. So here we are, we're all Black, we're in there, we're committed, we have shared experiences, we know what it's like, and we're willing to give that type of advice or sharing of knowledge. But then what Stephen just said, the commitment to be in the room, to be on something like this. I want you to think about this. This has fostered the commitment. All of us are at the PNC in Houston. So you see what I mean? So that commitment on Thursday led to us saying, well, let's be at, so we took the mastermind. Now we're at the Power Networking Conference, and we have the likes of Dr. Julianne Malveaux upstairs, Tavis Smiley, Dr. Boyce Watkins, all types of professional, high level Black people, going back to your point about race. But now for the next 2 days, my mission is to think about, okay, who else can I introduce Stephen to? Here we have 500 to 1,000 Black professionals in every profession here, right upstairs, right now. We're down in the lobby, but there's somebody up there who needs IT. I've got to go through my mental Rolodex and meet him and say, you know what? I need you to meet Lynette. So we've taken the commitment from Thursdays, the mastermind, and now we're out in the field. We're working. We're networking and masterminding all the way down in Houston, and the rewards that could come from this, the relationships, even I can't wait. I still don't know if Lynette and them got a chance to take pictures with George, so I'm going to corral him. These are shared experiences that add to our entrepreneurial experience that makes us better, that makes us smarter. And so now Lynette can go into other places based upon the experiences that she's having right now in the mob and here at the Power Network.
I love this. I'm like this much jealous, so we're not gonna talk.
I'm trying to make you jealous because you said
it wasn't hard. Yeah, so a little bit jealous, but there's a couple of things that I want to bring to the attention to those that are viewing. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you are an entrepreneur, everybody here made a commitment to be somewhere that they're not from, right? And they invested in a plane ticket, an Uber ride, food to get there, a hotel, plus the admission to get inside, right? I'm going to put that over here. Number 2, they meet on Thursdays from 12 to 2. This is their full-time work, right? I really want us to think about where we are as an entrepreneur and where we want to be as an entrepreneur, right? Because to Stephen's point, Black businesses need to start becoming more entrepreneurial so they can start hiring more Black people. Studies show we hire within each other, right? So I think those are 2 big points to bring up, because you guys are full-fledged businesses. You're not going to work Monday through Friday, leaving, then doing this on the side. This is the business.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference. You love it, hug it, sleep with it differently, right? Right? There's no
Catch planes in the middle of the week to come to it, right? This is what we're doing. You're right.
Right? And you made that investment. So I cannot find it, but the other day I was listening to TD Jakes, as I do. I'm on base, good little set off.
Get ready.
One of his sermons, he talked about we have to move forward. We got to keep investing in ourselves, and he brought up you have to keep educating yourself. You cannot not know how to use the computer, right? You have to keep investing in your professional development as entrepreneurs, as professionals, right? Because it is your career roadmap, no matter which direction you go. So I think I brought TD Jakes in so that there's a spiritual proof that it should be done, right? He signed, sealed, delivered it for me on that one, right? So I think it's really important that our audience realizes that there's a commitment that you've made as entrepreneurs, and that you are full-time entrepreneurs, right? And there was a goal to become that. So I just want to point that out.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to add for the listening audience, and I'd love to hear everybody else chime in on this, but it's different levels of entrepreneurship and business too. That's the key to come together. We're not in the mob to judge each other, to criticize each other. We're in the mob to kind of meet each other where we are and what can we do to help. Again, the biggest benefit that I see for myself from the mastermind, or let's just say the proud moments that I receive, is to be able to see the transformation of the other members where I really have nothing to do with it. And I mean, I can't wait to see Anitra shining this weekend, right? She's going to meet people and do deals, right? I mean, we're here taking a break and having this conversation. But after this, Melanie got to go and do a deal. She got to go meet some people. Lynette got to go meet some people. And then what we're going to do next Thursday, we're going to talk about all of this. Who did you meet? What happened? What did you learn? What workshops did you attend? How did it benefit you? Did you get this picture, right? So we're able to help hold each other accountable. But more importantly, like I said, we're out here implementing the same things that you talked about, because without that action, we're really just talking entrepreneurship. We don't begin to take these steps to develop ourselves.
I just got to jump in and say this, because yesterday, one of the power speakers from yesterday actually owns a black title company, and Brother Bedford and I said the exact same thing.
Yep.
He needed to meet Melanie. We both said at the same time to each other, so we were both on the same track to understand that this is what we're here to do. You know, and I got my photo with Dr. Fraser already. You know?
Yeah. So everybody got to get their photos.
Stephen was pushing people out the way to get that photo.
Yeah, I just want to just also add one more thing. I know I said I wasn't going to talk a lot, but what I really have enjoyed about this is this group created Transrupting. When I joined the mastermind group, my focus was not about starting a company. It was about creating a mastermind group for Weibo graduates. But listening and meeting every week with this group sparked new ideas and showed me that I was coming up short on what I was doing. I wasn't playing the game full out. And that is what led me to launching Transrupting. So these young ladies here actually was a catalyst in me saying that I don't want y'all to be a part of Weibo. I'm going to build something different and new that I know the way it should be done. And that would not have happened if I didn't attend this mastermind group. I could have learned about starting a mastermind and implemented that with the workshop, which was my original plan. But a lot more of it came out once I actually started participating and made a commitment to show up every week and got feedback and hear all this other stuff. So what the mastermind group can do is show you your path.
Yeah.
Show you the path that you really should be on. Because the path that I was on was not my path.
Yeah.
I had to learn. It helped me learn about where we're going with the next step, Natalie. You and I have been on this journey for a while. You know, we know what we did with the workshop, but think about the path we're going on now. Think about what you're also able to do, where we got something that you can now customize and make fit your audience. And we couldn't have done that with the past. But here we are today because of these young ladies here, and we got something really special. I just had to
Actually, on
add
that
that.
show.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So you are part of this mastermind. What I want to know is, we know that mastermind is a part of the networking. From being in the mastermind, what else have you joined as a way to leverage your work? Like, has it influenced you to say, maybe I do need to invest in this organization or this professional group or get this certification, where maybe that's not the mind frame you had before?
Oh man, that's next. I need a copy of that. The great Shay Brown is over here taking pictures of me. That's the thing about it. You got all types of celebrities walking around and people doing things with their hobbies. He's taking pictures of me here while I'm on the computer showing. They're great pictures, by the way. But that's what this type of environment does. And something that you just asked, Natalie, about that investment. You literally can't get away from investing either your time or your resources into developing yourself. Again, the bottleneck for our people as it relates to entrepreneurship is not realizing that you have to expose yourself to this type of process, whether it's in a mastermind or whether it's going to conferences or whether it's just saying, you know what, I'm going to start my business. You're going to have to learn a lot of these things that you can learn from the community. Either you do it on your own, that rugged individualist mindset, but you have to go through it. But here's the thing that we've discovered. You literally hurt yourself more doing it that way instead of just submitting to a process to where there's not a question that we can't ask each other in the group. And if I don't know it, if Stephen don't know it, we go and find people. Again, I'll pull Shay over here. There go Trevor Otts is over there. I mean, there's all types of people here that we can invite to masterminds. And so I think it's critically important, Natalie, for people to engage in these types of things. It doesn't have to be the mob, but you have to get into this process of connecting and masterminding with like-minded people so that just like what happened with Stephen, think about it. It's not like Stephen didn't know what to do. It's not like he didn't have experience, but it was the environment where seeds were planted that allowed him to take a whole new approach. And I think that's happening with all of us, even myself. The mastermind is growing and evolving daily. Anitra will do something. She created a phenomenal infographic off of something that I shared really some months ago. But she's created an infographic off of it that she now uses and we share on social media, but goes back to a common language that we're beginning to use in the group about building confidence. But now this becomes a tool and a resource, not just for me. This is Melanie's resource. This is Lynette's resource. This is Stephen. So now we're creating intellectual property that we can use. So again, whether you do it in this environment or not, this is a process that you have to go through. So you want to do it willingly instead of being forced into, the story of most of us entrepreneurs is, we go into bankruptcy, we're homeless. You hear all of the stories about, what we've done to get to a level of success, but there is a way to do it better. We can learn and, kind of network with some people so that they can shortcut our learning curve.
Yeah. Sometimes we fall in love with the struggle.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't want to fall in love with the struggle. I want to fall in love with the ease.
Yeah. And the struggle is going to be there either way. It's really about heightening, and that's why it's called a mastermind, right? You literally, I learned this language from other masterminds and I've shared it in this group and it's become one of Anitra's favorite sayings, but it's so true. Entrepreneurs are in the business of thinking about our thinking. And when we're doing business outside of this type of environment, we never really give ourselves a chance to think or communicate like this. And when you don't think about what your motives are, why you're doing something, what's compelling you to do this instead of this, why you don't want to learn that in this environment. And I believe Lynette said it so beautifully earlier. It allows you to share your flaws. And now it's not a condemnation of you. It's not a death sentence. It's an environment that allows you to begin to grow and develop. So I would recommend everybody, even if it's, you don't have to join the mob, but you should start and we use the term mastermind because it's easy to wrap your mind around. I could easily just say you need to get a group of people together. but we do want to add some structure to it so that you can grow and develop. So you should join a mastermind or even just start your own and start having these types of meetings, these types of conversation, these type of trips together to engage with other people, because that's going to be your self-education in terms of you developing as an entrepreneur.
And the key thing that you said too was facilitate.
One quick second. So, come here. This is one of the power speakers. He's not going to really talk. This is Shay Brown, and he teaches how to build a 7-figure sales team. Okay, this is the type of talent that we have here, and what he's actually been doing for the last 15 minutes is walk around amateur photography, taking for. He started taking photos.
His hobby.
But it's a pleasure to meet all you, man. I love what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing. Taking this information as entrepreneurs, we always want to get better.
That's right.
And we never stop learning. So thanks a lot. I see you got the one and only Brother Bedford in the building. I don't know how you got him out of here, but he's here.
He's like my brother now.
Ah, okay.
He's my brother.
Silky smooth.
And these are these are my other family members, and they're not the ones that borrow money. These are the good family members.
Good ones. Okay.
These are good ones you want to have around. Okay.
They doing all the work.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Now, just real quick, something that Shay just said about that. Again, just the environment to be able to take pictures. He's an entrepreneur that teaches sales, but as Stephen was just joking with him, he's literally around here practicing his hobby because he's an entrepreneur that does sales and does it well, but he's around here taking pictures. And that's what a good entrepreneur eventually grows to where you're able to master your business, but now you got all of these other interests and things that you can do. To me, that's a great lesson because Stephen is right. He's been walking around here taking pictures of everybody, following the official photographer, taking pictures of everybody, but he can afford to do that. You want to hang around people like that.
And you know what also, Natalie, what I love about this mob, we started to funnel our money. We don't take our money outside and give it to other people. We'll use the people in the mob that got the know-how and the skill set that can help us grow our business. And that's a plus because a lot of people don't like to do that.
I like that. That's a part of that's about keeping the dollar in the community for more than 1.5 cycles, right? We want it to stay at least 7 cycles in a community. So that's important. No, this is great. This is good. You've given me really good insight on a mastermind. And to your point, Brother Bedford, you said anybody can start a group and meet consistently and create structure around it, right? And then all of a sudden next year meet up with you guys at the Power Conference, right? I'm just saying anybody can do that, right?
Absolutely. The challenge for us, Natalie, you make a very valid point, and I'll say this because one of the principles we talk about it in the mob, but we haven't had a need for me to kind of address it to where it's an issue, but you make a very valid point. The reason some people don't do that and the reason a lot of people get into their silos is because they're constantly comparing and competing with each other. When you come into the mob, one of the first things we're not competing with each other, but more importantly, we want to make sure that we set the standard that that's not even our issue. So we're here at the Power Networking Conference with people who do similar things, who have, we're at a networking conference. George has a network. So you have networks of networks, and they're all coming here. Sisters for Sisters Network, they have about 20. They have a mastermind, so they got about 25 women that's here. I could probably name about 4 to 5 other groups. But the point, Natalie, is that that's the objective. If we can build these groups, and then we can come together, not as competitors, but using collaboration as a way to take all of us to the next level, there won't be anything that we can't do now.
I like this. Good work. So what are your plans for the rest of what do you guys have planned? Because I know you're 3 hours, is it 3 hours behind us? So it's like, what is it, like?
No, I think we're just 2. We're on Central Time. So maybe just one.
We're actually an hour behind. That's all.
So you're not all the way on the west part. Okay. Right,
no,
so
we're in Houston.
Yeah, okay. we're in a weird state of Texas.
I'm sorry.
Where did Anitra go? Where did Anitra go?
She's working to get back on. Mm-hmm.
There you go. Okay, so before we go, we got 5 minutes.
No, let's go. No. If you got some more good questions, get them out. Because the program upstairs is running behind time. The Congresswoman hasn't arrived yet. So we got Congresswoman Sheila Jackson going to be part of a town hall. We're going to have a conversation about what's up with the Democrats. And if you remember Malcolm X's speech, the bullet or the ballot, That's what they're going to have the discussion at the town hall meeting tonight. So, but they're actually running behind, so we got a few more minutes. You got some good questions, Natalie? Let's go.
So I did want to
This is
know,
great.
was there any other groups that you've all joined since being a part of this? Has there been anything that you realized being a part of this, you've said, well, maybe I do need to join this association?
Well, as a joke, my clan nomination was rejected.
Anyway, Stephen, he's something else. I can say I stopped going to some groups because it was a waste of time, and I started attending this more. And then obviously there are some IT groups that I'm a part of, and I'm still a part of those as well, because you get some different nuggets, but they do not look like us either. So
understood. So this is home. It's like comfort when you come back home, right? Yes. Got you. Anitra.
It's actually family. We joke, and I'm hoping that everybody know we say mob. We're not really a mob, meaning
Yes, we are. We are.
Masters of business mobs, okay? But what we want, everyone to know is that we really, you can say, feel like family, but then truly when you show up for each other, like Anitra and I, late at night, we awake working on business cards, trying to get ready for the conference. We're just doing what we need to do with each other to get ready for what we need to do. So it's just like we truly are family.
Did you see Anitra's face? Did you see Anitra's face? Anitra's like,
yeah, there was some.
I remember.
There was some pain about those business cards, obviously.
And they were my business cards. That's the whole thing. They were mine.
But think about this though, Natalie. Think about what they just see. That's the process, right? To get prepared for the conference and have people who can help you. And you may have to run we've been at conferences like this. I've been here, years ago. You'd have to run the Kinko's to get your order form printed up just before you run into your work. That's just the nature of entrepreneurship, and it's wonderful to be able to have people in it with you that can kind of help you. Go ahead, Anitra. I know you want to say something on that.
For me, this is home, right? The mob is home, but I have joined other, let me say, Facebook groups, not mastermind, because this is it for me. Like, this is where I come to. I sat in some other, just since I've been here and listening and everything, and I'm like, yep, I'm staying in the mob. I'm good. This is where home is. And some of the other groups that I have joined on the social media platforms, from being in the mob, it's allowed me to share with them in ways of how to grow. And I've been able to facilitate, Brother Bedford, I've been a Brother Bedford for a few minutes, been able to facilitate some changes even in those groups by the way people think and how we're revealing ourselves. And they're predominantly Black groups, Black women that look like me, that I know have had those moments of fear, frustration, and just not leaning fully into who they are and what they bring to the table. And being able to be in those groups because I have the mob mentality and the mob knowledge and the love makes me be very open with them and showing them how they can have that kind of relationship, build relationships more than just a transaction. The money will come, but the relationship is the most important to me. So.
Can I add something to that real quick, Natalie? Because we encourage, if there's a way for you to go out and help others, with whatever we're doing, that's the whole design, not to think of competition. And so I've never once talked to anybody that's in the mob about being competitors with some other groups or anything like that. We want, how do we work with them? In fact, if you could think of what Stephen is doing with Transruptic. Now, with a silly mentality, some of us could think, well, that's competition. Stephen teaching entrepreneurship and we talk about entrepreneurship. It is the perfect marriage and collaboration. And I would tell people, who are coming in, am I ready? If they're not ready for the commitment for this mastermind, you need to go to Transruptic. We need more places to refer people to. And it should never be a this or that for us. It should be both. Why not? If you're ready to study up under Dr. George C. Fraser and you're ready to join Les Brown, why not? You don't have to choose. And I think that's a challenge with us, our community. We're
And,
always forced to choose.
and that's what I was getting at. I was actually saying, have you just decided to do more, right? Because I feel that often we're forced to choose, don't, right?
Yeah.
So, being in this group, it's this is home, right? At home, you learn what you need to do to survive outside. So you might learn at home that you need to join your local chamber because there's AARP money coming down there and only members get access to that. That's what we learned at home. So that could be an extension of what you decided to do, which is what you learned from the group. We don't join enough chambers or networking or things like that. And then that leaves that, first of all, we don't join enough. And then we wishy-washy off the boards so that when we do get on the board, we're not always taken serious because we're not there long enough. And I understand that we don't always, our needs are always served, but there's a key that those networks have that we need to figure out how that we can crack and access for ourselves.
And real quick on that point, Stephen, before you say something, because I want you to kind of answer this too, because to your point, Natalie, I want you to think about that's really what we want to do is kind of help each other to develop the skill, right? Because it takes skill to be a part of multiple groups and support people and navigate things. And so I want you to think about Stephen is an excellent example. So he didn't get on here and just talk about the mob. He's talked about Dr. Stacy NC Grant, how he's supporting her, how he's going to be a part of that next week. And so learning the skill from someone like a Stephen, again, this situation should prepare us to be able to go into other organizations, not with a competitive spirit, but how do I come in here and help this grow? And so, Stephen, I want you to speak to that because, again, Stephen kind of displayed that at the very beginning, talking about Dr. Stacy NC Grant. We brought over Shay, just a network of people to collaborate with, but it takes a skill to where you're not intimidated. You don't feel bad about joining another group or trying to be a part of something else. And I think Stephen kind of exemplifies that.
Yeah, so what I really wanted to say, this Power Network conference is unlike any other conference in the world because its number one job is about collaboration. Okay, so these speakers don't compete against one another; they collaborate. So a couple years ago, I was introduced to Dr. Cheryl Woods, and Dr. Cheryl Woods She does a SpeakerCon conference and bring other speakers who get paid to speak on her conference. She shares her stage with what you would call her competitors, but she also understands the value of what comes out of that. And I've been a sponsor of SpeakerCon as well. And one of the reasons I became a sponsor is because I met her right here at the PNC Network and got the opportunity to work with her, got the opportunity to do a presentation, and I really like what she's doing. And I decided, well, we're going to sponsor you as well. So this is not about competition. I think too often, yes, we always think we got to compete. And that's what I talk about in my book, that scarcity mentality. There's abundance in this world. And I would tell you that if you think that you got to fight for a piece of a pie, you've been sadly misled. There's no such thing as a fighting for a piece of pie. You can have a whole pie, multiple pies, have some cake, and eat it too as well. And I put that in my book as well. I'm quoting my book now because it's so much a part of me. But the whole thing, you don't have to be a part of the mastermind to choose something else. You can be part of the mastermind, you can be part of the Chamber of Commerce, you can be part of Faithpreneur, you can be part of SpeakerCon, you can be part of Fraser Net. We could be part of all these different entities and know that we're not competing against one another. This is all about collaboration. This is all about helping us get to the next step because we're going to learn something from each one of these individuals that take us to the next step. My involvement with Faithpreneur opens up some doors that I don't see. It gives me opportunity to meet some people I would not have met. Being a part of SpeakerCon gives me an entire, also different audience. And knowing that when I attend SpeakerCon, I'm going to hear not just from Dr. Cheryl Woods as an expert in the field, but other experts. She brings on Delano. She brings on people. She brings on some heavy hitter speakers who are charging $25,000 to speak for 5 minutes. And you want to learn how to do the same thing, and she don't mind you sharing it because she also realized what she do is not for everybody. If what she do is not for it, then here's something else. And that's what makes this work. So if you have this mentality of sharing and don't feel it has to be either or, you can really go far in life. Okay, and that's what we get through the mastermind groups, and that's what we get from being here at PNC Power Networking Conference. And that's all we're talking about.
Yeah.
Every speaker comes up here is talking about collaboration. They ain't talking about you got to do my program. No, they say find what fits for you.
And
You know,
think
it's
about
funny.
this, Natalie. Just real
Right.
quick, Natalie. Just to Stephen's point, real quick. Dr. Stacy N.C. Grant and Dr. Cheryl Wood have come and spoken inside of the Masters of Business.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type. So they come in and speak, and we go out and support them. It just opens up so many opportunities for you. To Stephen's point.
The point about fast food restaurants is so true. McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, they're all on the same road, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they all actually, when they're looking for space, want to be near each other, right? Because it draws people. And somebody doesn't like McDonald's, wants Taco Bell. So it all evens out, and they all win in the end, right? So if they can do it, we can do it too. Right?
Yeah.
Love it. All right. I want to know what do you guys do? I'm not there, so I feel left out. See, your background suggests that you're there. This is just home for me. What's going on next? Oh, it's the town hall.
Right. This is a fortunate part for us. Stephen's show actually fell right after the workshops and before the town hall meeting. And so we've had this window where people were upstairs eating. You know, this is really like a dinner break and then going into the town hall meeting.
Okay. And that town hall topic seems really intense.
Oh, it's going to be, because even the speakers are going to be intense, who are going to really present on this topic. It is a seriously important Black topic for these elections coming up. We just seen some of the midterm Republican results that's coming out, and I'll be honest with you. If you're an entrepreneur, you need to be in the politics. You need to be supporting the politicians that you feel is going to be best for your community, because I believe there's a group of individuals similar to the Klan that really would want to see us back on the plantation. Okay, they think that we done got too uppity.
Stephen pretty radical tonight, ain't he?
Well, we had lunch today, and I was actually telling them how radical my mother was. A militant, basically. And I told him the story of how my mother would not let me watch the old Tarzan movie with Johnny Weissmuller, because she said that if you believe that this one white man controlled all these so-called tribes in Africa, she said you're really stupid. And I was like 8, 9 years old, so I do have that militant background in me, and I have been involved as an entrepreneur in politics, not just voting, but supporting with my dollars those individuals I think are going to best represent our community. And my goal is to tell every Black person who starts a business, who has run their business, you need to grow to the point where you can really impact your community and turn some things around, hire some people. And that's what Transrupting is all about. We're here to help you learn how to hire, create a staff, build and scale a business that's going to support your community. Because if you don't support your community, right, we got a group of people that was going to give us some support, but it ain't going to look like what we look like. They already
come buy it all up.
We're in the state right now where they have ready to eliminate the word slavery and replace it with some. No, first they said we came over here on like something like a cruise ship, but they they want to rewrite the history that we experienced to fit their narrative. This is what they say. The easiest way to really cripple a person is if you take away a right and they don't complain, you take away another right and they don't complain, and you have another one and another one. And the next thing you find out, you don't know and you don't have any rights. It began when they took civics out of classrooms. So civics is no longer, so you don't even know your rights as a citizen here because they took it out of the classroom. So we're at this point now. So this town hall meeting is about Malcolm X's speech, which was the bullet on the ballot that he delivered, talking to these Democrats, because sometimes they don't do the right. They're not doing some of the right things either. But he was very clear. You show up every 4 years for our vote, or for the 3 years in between, we don't see or hear from you. But here you are again, wanting our vote. And what's going to happen? So we had a very important crossroad in this country. And here we are in this conference fighting to go to the next level, to be excellence, right? watching not being here. So I'll say, okay, KP, we hear you. You're gonna be here next year with us, okay? We're gonna isolate you so you don't be around no family members to catch COVID, okay, or anything else. But this conference is really about, despite the systemic racism, despite the history of what's been done to us, we can still rise, become successful as entrepreneurs, and give back and help our communities. Because what we're here to do is to learn, right? To implement and to also give back. Dr. George Fraser tells us that we're here of service. We're here to be of service. And being of service means that we should be here to give back to one another, not just take and take and take. So, and that's what we've all learned in the mob. This is what we had the opportunity to really love and experience those things as well. That's why I'm glad to be a part. That's why I'm so glad that this worked out, that we could all be here tonight and do this show like this. To have my family here with me. I'm deeply indebted to all of you all. I really I enjoy the Thursday. Yes, I do ride some of y'all. I'm a jokester. I'm a joke. I'm always prank. I will always tell jokes, but in all seriousness, uh, I would not be where I'm at today without all of you all. Okay, so thank you for that. Go ahead, Natalie.
So I
Thank you.
think no, I wanted to share with you all. It's just been a pleasure just being able, because I know we met in Harlem that day when we went up there. We were all together that day. Brother Bedford was sick.
Yeah, I caught the
You
COVID
caught
then.
the COVID thing, right? And I'm glad that I was able to hear more about your businesses.
Look, and KP did. KP caught COVID in too. She just keep getting COVID every time we have a meeting.
COVID, right? Because in Connecticut, working with Stephen between Transruptic, I'm building out a nonprofit arm to my co-work space that I own. And then that space is going to be my fiduciary for money to be able to, because listen, the rule says you got to be a nonprofit. We will be a nonprofit, right? So, starting the board and then led by us, which is my partner organization, which, my partner is Hispanic, I'm Black, so it's led by us. We feel that that's really important. And we're always going to be looking for affiliates, people that look like us, that have certain products and services. And I just met 3 people that got products and services. So I'm excited to add that to my led by us affiliate network, because what we're really trying to do is, my biggest concern is there's no consulting firms that do a lot of economic development work in urban communities. And if there is, the representation of a Black or brown person is very, very little, very small, and their role is not very big to make a decision. I know this because I wrote my city plan. I was on that team, so I know how that selection process is. We need a consortium of Black consultants that when big projects come, we can, like a Hollywood movie set, come together, do the work, get paid, go back, right? And I think being able to have access to that allows for anybody, that it makes you look at RFPs differently. If you feel that you have the capacity to be able to meet the needs of the client. So I'm excited to be able to add you all to my network in that capacity, as we are starting to open back up my collab exchange in Connecticut, and we're going to be doing some workshops. So definitely we'll be reaching out to you.
Well, I mean, first of all, you're going to be meeting them on a regular basis, because they're also Transruptic affiliate partners as well.
There we go.
We're going to be getting together on a monthly basis and doing our affiliate version of a think tank as well. There's no, we want no way we're just going to do that. So I want to give big thanks to you, Brother Bedford, for everything that you have done, bringing us all together, and your years of service. There's no one here at this conference who will not speak highly of you, Brother Bedford. I mean, we saw Dr. Wendy Muhammad in your room, testimonial you right off the bat.
Almost got me crying.
Yeah, she's built multi-million-dollar companies. We go on, the list goes on, everything you have done for all of us and continue to do. I'm honored that you was one of our first guests. I'm honored to know you and have you a part of this. It's honored to have these women with us here tonight, who have been very instrumental in where I'm at today, which would not have been possible if I wasn't in a group with them. There's a lot to go. And I just want to say for anyone who's on the show tonight, I may be doing something that's not allowed, but I'm going to do it anyway. If you want to be a part of the 2023 Powered Networking Conference, right, I would say definitely get in touch with me because Dr. George Fraser always has a
Yeah.
special price that no one that you would not normally get. And that price, I think, only lasts until August 30th. So if you really ready to commit a few $100s to register for this conference, I would say that would be one of the best investments you can make business wise. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, the level of people that are here that's going to present can give you $1 million ideas and $1 million ways to implement, not just give you an idea, but give you a path to implementation. It's like I just showed Shay Brown, he helps people build multi-million-dollar sales teams, and he's been doing this for a number of years. He has a track record. He has a lot of success. Everyone in there. We got a gentleman who's been teaching branding for 37 years. He has done, once again, major corporate clients. A good friend of mine, Reginald Davis, who has been teaching supply diversity. He was my first mentor when I first when I first got my company certified. I learned from him how to go after corporate contracts. He's here tonight. I was actually shocked to see him. I'm looking at him like, I know this guy, and then I realized who he is, and I actually had to go over and hug him and thank him once again for everything he had poured into me. And everything that he said on that screen is true about how
Yes, sir.
corporations will take our money but don't want to do business with us. Right, so we giving you 40% of our income. For you making 40% margins off of us, right? But then when you come to us, when we want to provide services to you, you saying no. We want to provide raw goods, you say no, and that's so true. And I see this. So he has told us that if the if the corporation doesn't buy from the C-suite, don't join their supply diversity network. Don't waste your time. If supply diversity is brought in from the corporate C-suite, then you have an opportunity to work. That $1 billion roundtable is also real. Coke and Pepsi are part of that, along with Ernst and Young and some other corporations. So they are corporations that are doing more than $1 billion worth of business with minority businesses, and that's what I learned from Reginald Davis many years ago. But that's the type of talent that Dr. Fraser. As Dr. Fraser has said, that's his mastermind group.
Yeah.
Those are the people he hang with. Those are his homies. He's bringing that talent to you every year. So here's an opportunity for you, those of you who are listening to the show. If you're really serious about wanting to attend this conference and you put your name on that list, you need to be ready to pay whatever couple $100 it's going to be when Dr. Fraser contacts you. Then contact me. Hey, Kurt, throw my email address up there one more time for the people to see. Give my email address. They can send me an email, and I'll make sure they get the link to tell. And I'll go tell Dr. George Fraser that I promoted his conference next year on my show. So he won't beat up on you, Brother Bedford. I'm gonna take
Nice. This is great.
I'm gonna take that one on my own. I thank you all for tuning in tonight. I hope that
Yes.
this show was beneficial to you all. This is what we do every month. We're all about empowering and helping entrepreneurs get to the next level. Transrupted, our cohort will be launching next. Our first cohort will be launching next month. We have a 12-week program in which we're going to help you scale and operate your own small business or help you grow an existing business. We also will have a track that's going to be doing financial literacy, so you understand how budgeting works, how credit works, how business credit works as well. And then on top of that, you get to join. Once you graduate, you get to join. That's it. Yeah, there you go. Stephen.Jackson at transruptic.com. But once you graduate the 12-week program, you get to join our 1-year mastermind group. Do exactly what I do with these women on a monthly basis as well. So there'll be more information about that, as well as information about my new book and my 5-day challenge for those people who have an issue and are having problems making a choice to become entrepreneur. We're going to work with you on that as well. I thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you to my guests. I'm humbled by your presence this evening. I really, really appreciate this, that you decide to spend some
Thank you.
time with me tonight. And Natalie, you got any final words for us?
Yes, go master your mindset.
Huh?
Yeah.
Go master your mindset.
Definitely.
I got one final thing to say. Y'all need
Yeah.
to come and get some of this fire. Stephen on fire, boy. He gonna light somebody up. Just to be close to Stephen is enough.
Well, it's coming because of where I happen to be at. It's been a number of years that I haven't physically been at a Fraser Net since 2016.
Yeah.
So I miss, he had started having it on some weekends where weeks where I really couldn't be available. I actually remember being at the first one. That's how long I met Dr. George Fraser in 1994, around 94, 95, at a symposium called Marketing Opportunities for Black Entertainment and Black Entrepreneurs. Moby is called Moby for short. And I also was a sponsor of Moby at one time. And that's where I met Dr. Fraser. And we did a panel together as well over time. And then I remember we came up with the success directory. Then we had the success directory and other things. So I feel like I've returned home. But the last 2 years was virtual, which was not the same. But to be here this year with my good friend Dr. Stacey Instant Grant and other friends who I have not seen, like Dr. Cheryl Woods, so good to see her again. I feel like I'm at home, and me being home, especially in a special city like Houston, where I began a pivotal part of my career in leadership training, brings this all together. It's like I'm really blessed to be here in this moment. And I'm on. You're right. I'm on fire, and I'm on fire because of what I've experienced and learned.
Beating him down, right?
Well, look at it this way: the fire that's burning now makes Transruptic even better.
And Natalie, we still got 2 more days. If Stephen is like that, imagine how he's gonna feel on Saturday. We got 2 more days of this.
No,
This is good.
I actually fly out tomorrow night. I'm actually flying out tomorrow night.
Okay.
So I won't be here for the end of it. But so the good news is that we are starting the teen project. I'm going to have 20 teenagers between 16 and 20 that we're going to be taking through this whole Transruptic experience as well. That is going to begin very soon. So I need to get back and start to prepare for that. I'm excited about that as well. And, just all the other things that we're all doing together. So everyone, have a great, amazing evening. I will leave you with this. Do something every day to best your best, no matter how small it is. Just do something every day. Read another book. Listen to a inspirational message. Do something for yourself. Thank you all. Have a great night.
Good night, everybody.